Welcome back to the Popcorn Hour. I'm Matt, this is James, and this is our Criterion of the Month, and we're reviewing the movie Cronos, written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. All right, before we get into that, have you watched anything other than that?
I watched regular show and part of Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna watch Peacemaker tonight.
Okay. So I watched Peacemaker last night. Great episode. This season, I just felt like nothing's really happening until this episode. So last night was really good. I also watched that documentary on Netflix, Unknown Number.
Oh, yeah. I've heard
You watched it?
No, I've heard everything about it,
Yeah.
though. So I'm like, I can't watch it.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought the same thing, and then I watched it, and I was like, "Whoa!"
No, but I heard about the end, like who it actually was.
Yeah, but like that, and that's what I'm saying. Like I knew that, and
Oh.
I didn't want to watch it, and then I saw something, and I was like, "Okay, well, I got to figure out like how this like truly ends, because like that's kind of in the middle, and then it's kind of like the aftermath of it all."
There's more.
Oh yeah,
after
there's
that?
more. It's weird. After it ended, I was very disappointed, or not disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. I was irritated
That makes sense.
by some of the events and like some of the people involved, like their actions, and
That would make sense.
it was baffling. And it's a really good documentary. You should watch it. You should definitely watch it because
Okay.
it's like, and then Elizabeth started just watching on TikTok, like the like people doing their reactions to finding out who actually was, and some of them are kind of funny. But she was like watching those all night, and I was like, okay. So yeah, we watched that. I watched Avengers. It took me like 5 days to watch Avengers because I turned it on like right before I go to bed, and then I'd like fall asleep in 10 minutes. And so, and I also watched Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2.
Okay. I watched those really passively last week.
Oh, okay, yeah. I kind of watched the first one a little bit passively, and then like that one is the first one's really good. The second one's kind of
I don't like the second one that
iffy.
much.
There's just too much going on, and
Yeah.
the ending of the second one is really good.
Doesn't Stone Cold show up?
No, it's John Cena.
Yeah. No, in the second one?
Mm-hmm.
No, because John Cena's like in the second.
Yeah, so the end of the first one.
Oh, yeah, when he
is
shows up to
John
the-
Cena,
yeah.
and then John Cena's in it a little bit throughout the movie, to spend Christmas together and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and then of course I watched Cronos yesterday.
Yeah, I watched that too.
So
I watched that last night and this morning.
mhm.
So
Yeah. All right. Well, you ready to get into it?
yeah,
All right. So, Cronos came out in 1993. It was Guillermo del Toro's feature film debut.
Guillermo director Rose.
Yes. The genre of his horror fantasy drama, which I didn't really pick up on any horror.
Oh.
I did, but I didn't. Like,
There was like
there's several things that I was like, that reminds me of something specific.
I
but-
realized something on the way here that you're gonna be like, oh, well, that makes sense. And
Okay.
do you want me to say it now?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we can wait. It threw me off a little bit because the movie is primarily in Spanish, and then with some hints of English.
It's like
speaking.
70% Spanish.
Yeah.
Maybe 60-70% Spanish, and then 30-40% English.
Mhm.
Which I actually wrote that down as a note. I was like, I kind of like that because it almost doesn't feel overbearing as an audience member to be like, oh, this whole thing is in Spanish or this whole thing is in another language.
Yeah,
But it kind of helps break it up
right.
a little bit.
And so I don't like watching movies that are in a different language because it kind of makes me take away from one or the other, either what's being said or what's going on screen. So when the credits started rolling at the beginning and it was all in Spanish, I was like, oh, is this movie in Spanish?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the credits are in Spanish. The
Oh,
opening
yeah.
credits.
I was confused because the opening monologue is in English and then there's Spanish credits. So
Yeah, it threw me off majorly, and because I knew Ron Perlman was in it,
yeah.
so I was like, I don't think he speaks Spanish, and or maybe he does, and I just didn't know. But yeah, so that threw me off a little bit. But and we can get into that stuff a little bit later. Let me finish going through about it. But the runtime is relatively short. It's only 94 minutes. And so the plot of this movie is an antique dealer Jesus Greece discovers a mysterious mechanical device, the Cronos device, that grants him eternal life. As he succumbs to his dark allure, he must battle an aging industrialist and his thuggish nephew who seek the device's power for themselves.
Hmm.
All right, so this will be our spoiler-free section. I want to keep it relatively short.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about this.
Yeah, so first thoughts?
It started, and I just didn't really care for the tone and the mood of it because it was very much kind of like a Geppetto Pinocchio thing, kind of feel like was going on, which is kind of ironic because 3 years ago Guillermo del Toro directed an animated Pinocchio movie, and I just didn't really care for like how it started off, and I don't know what it is about most of these like foreign indie films, but every single time I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is good, nothing spectacular, and then it ends, and I was like, okay, that was good, and then a few hours later, I was like, okay, that was really good. Every single time, I'm like, I don't like it at first, then after about 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, I like this, I like where this is going, and then it ends. I'm like, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Again, it threw me off with the English monologue and then Spanish credits, and then it kind of goes into like Spanish towards the beginning, and it kind of takes a while for you to get like Ron Perlman's character who does speak English in this movie. And overall, I liked it a lot. I think my biggest concern, which I want to talk about a little bit more in detail later, but my biggest concern with this movie is that I felt like it was too short and left a lot of details out of it that I think would have added more to each character and as like the backstory of what this movie is even about. But I actually like the opening. I like the monologue. I like the preview of everything.
The alchemist and stuff.
Yeah, I liked all of that, and it kind of takes a while to kind of get to the point on what it all means. But
yeah, because they don't really explain what everything means and what the reason for everything until the last like 20, 30 minutes.
yeah,
And then we'll talk about that more once we get into the spoiler part of the episode. But some of the stuff did feel a little not all over the place, but a little shifty. Some like the tone and mood kind of changed a little towards the second half, and then like towards the end of the second, and then most of the third act, and then there's like one part, like the second half of the second act, that just kind of takes over, and then really finds itself, and then kind of loses it again. But overall, I mean, for a directorial debut, this is one that's in it's in the conversation,
right.
Because I mean, because of this movie, we got one of the greatest relationships between actor and director. Ron Perlman has been in 7 Guillermo del Toro projects,
And this was his first one.
and this is his first one. And some stuff about the movie, which we'll get into later, is the reason why he was in so many other projects with him, and it kind of makes me wonder if we're going to get a Ron Perlman cameo in Frankenstein. But I mean, this one I don't know, I don't even know how to explain why, but I can perfectly see Guillermo del Toro's like storytelling and his vision for film, and like immediately watching this after like 30 minutes, I could easily see where the inspiration for Pacific Rim, for hopefully Frankenstein, for Hellboy, Blade 2, I can see where it all comes from this.
Right. Yeah. There are some issues as far as like overall it was good, but I just felt like it was too short. I could have used a little bit more information.
I think I know why it got
a few more
short.
scenes. I think I know why too, and I think I would enjoy if they remade this movie today.
I think it would be
Because
interesting.
you could do so much with it.
I think it'd be really interesting if Guillermo del Toro decided whenever he's done with film to redo this one. I think that would be a interesting idea.
Yeah.
But
All right.
we'll see.
You ready to get into
Yeah.
the nitty gritty of it?
Yeah.
All right. So
Ready.
from this point on, spoilers. Go watch this film. It is actually really good, aside from a few things that are minor in my opinion. But yeah, definitely go watch it and then come back to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start off. You want to talk about the cinematography of it all?
So the cinematography, I feel like really easily kind of catches on to what they're trying to do. It was like the second or third. No, it was literally the first note I wrote about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is the camera instead of it almost feels like they kind of take a safe route with this one instead of trying to fully show everything or fully just let the camera do everything. The camera actually takes a seat, kind of, and the subjects tell the story, and just the whatever isn't. It's the camera's just back. It's just there and just captures everything in one, and is just letting everything that is happening, the people, the Cronos device, Angel's character, just letting everything tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting. It's a safe route, but it's also a good route.
Yeah, I felt like most of the like camera movement, majority of it was really slow.
Yeah.
Like the camera moved so slow, and it was kind of ominous.
Yeah.
In a lot of the parts, especially in the beginning, when he actually finds the device,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of messing with it, and the camera kind of is at a
It
low
almost
angle,
drags.
and yeah, it drags slowly across the desk to where they are, and then it kind of cuts to where he is messing with the actual device. So I felt like a lot of it was really slow, and that's kind of like horror does that
Mm-hmm.
quite frequently.
So there is one shot that I noticed. It's right when Angel is pushing Jesus off the cliff in the car. The camera, it's like they cut it a second too late.
Mm-hmm.
The camera just goes down, like it just the car's rolling, and then it's doing the slow shot, and it just looks like the shot is completely over, and then all of a sudden the camera just drops.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It was kind of strange, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It did have like a gothic visual tone.
Yeah, it was weird because it started off very warm, very ominous with like, this is the backstory behind the Cronos device and the alchemist,
Mm-hmm.
and then it kind of gets warm like a Geppetto, Pinocchio type of story, and then it just gets into what I realized earlier on the way over here. It's a universal monster all in one.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
For his thirst of blood and immortality. Then you got your Frankenstein, because typically a character like this would be the antagonist, but because we are seeing it from his perspective, it's using the idea of Frankenstein's monster, which is we don't perceive Frankenstein as being a monster because we're seeing it from his perspective, so we sympathize with him, and it does that. And then, I mean, you can also get some stuff like the mummy out of it. I can easily see a Wolfman because he's transforming. You know, I could see an Invisible Man because he's a normal guy that kind of goes a little rabid towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like Guillermo del Toro to try to combine all the Universal monsters into one story. And I was like, that was actually really cool. I like that. All right.
Ouch. So let's talk about the device.
Yeah.
It is a golden beetle-like contraption, and I like the imagery and the symbolicness of it, where it's like, because beetles are always perceived as beautiful and grotesque at the same time, and you know, this like ancient Egypt and stuff like that. So that's like you said, the mummy, and then also I
didn't think about it like that. That's a good way of putting it because it's very like pretty,
mm-hmm.
and it's it looks like you would like to own that.
Yeah.
And then like on the inside, it's gross.
Yeah.
Like the shots of inside of it, I really enjoyed a lot.
I did too.
A lot. It reminded me weirdly of the opening of Good Will Hunting,
mm-hmm.
but also like Hugo, Martin Scorsese movie, and then. Yeah, I don't know why it did, but It
Yeah.
was, I liked it.
The device on the outside definitely like it's a very intricate device that looks really cool, and then you kind of what I liked is that they did show us inside of it. You see the gears turning and moving, and then you see what is actually inside of it, making everything you know work. And it's an insect that's very ugly,
Yeah.
and you don't see the whole thing either. You only see like the top of it. I think there's only 3 shots of that, and the last shot of the inside of it, you kind of see more of it. Like it kind of goes down the insect's body, but of course there's still gears kind of
Yeah.
in the way, so you can't see the full thing. And then you kind of see the tail, which I thought was the grossest part.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And I don't think the beginning monologue did a good job of explaining like what is happening. It was kind of like, there's something inside of this rock.
Yeah.
And then the alchemist who creates this device, then he makes the device and stuff like that. And then 400 years later, a building explodes, and then you see him, the alchemist, dead essentially, or dying because he was pierced through the heart, which becomes important in the end. And you kind of, it's almost like I was like, what is happening? Because of his skin tone and
They said
like,
it was
the makeup.
marble like
Yes, yeah, it was
in the moonlight.
It was very weird because it almost resembled an insect as well, and the makeup altogether I thought was really good, except for one specific scene. But I thought the makeup, the prosthetics, the whatever on the alchemist was, after thinking about it, was actually really good. So I like that a lot.
Interesting thing about the scarab device is the ones that they use on the movie. Someone stole those and they're gone.
Oh, really?
No one knows to this day where they are, who has them, or anything. So Guillermo del Toro just has replicas in his house of it.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
That's
the real
interesting.
Cronos device is gone,
That was,
which is pretty ironic because of the plot.
yeah, when the legs kind of come out, I wasn't 100% sure, but is it like, did they make the device like that, or is that CG?
They made it like that.
They
It's
did?
practical.
Okay. Because when they pop out, it has a hint that it could look CG, but it might not be. And then the actual piece that comes up and pierces you, that's kind of,
That's a fake hand.
yeah.
Which the makeup on it looked really good.
Yeah.
The only issue is, whenever they painted it, it didn't really have like red undertones, so it almost looked just gray. But then there was also nothing like pushing against it. They like didn't have anything under it, so it just kind of went through, and it just kind of looked like a balloon.
Yeah, but I did with
I
that,
didn't mind it.
that
Like, it looked
close up when that little
Hand
the hand, whatever it is, I don't know what you would
the
call it.
scorpion thing.
Yes, when it actually,
Yeah,
the
when it
close
goes-
up when it
yeah.
pierces him, I actually like that because I thought it looked
Yeah.
really good they did it so slowly too,
Yeah,
and
I do like how they took its time with a lot of this, and considering the movie's only an hour and a half, it fills its space pretty well.
yes, yeah. The device first latches onto,
He
Grease.
completely messes up.
yes,
His
but
hand's like out like this, and then it just stabs the sides.
yeah, but like there was something that messed up here, but it's not really explained. Like in the palm of his hand, it's not really explained as to where that was, because later you see it's like this.
It's a dial.
Yeah,
And then
this
the
little
back.
thing kind of comes up and then pierces you, but that's not what it was showing on his hand after he got the device off. Unless when he was pulling it off, the actual arms were closing and it kind of pulled his skin off. That's kind of where I thought they were going with that. So, yeah. The characters. Ron Perlman, I think, did a really good job. He had a lot of lines that were like comedic relief, like with his uncle.
Yeah, where he's like, "What do you want?"
Yeah, and it was just so funny. One thing about his character that I thought was like really weird is when he's sitting on the bed, he doesn't have pants on. He's messing with his foot
And he like
and
smells
he
his hand.
smells his hand. I thought that was so gross.
I was gonna say it's weird because he's very childlike and very immature, which I'm assuming that's well, I mean that is because his uncle like treats him like that.
Yeah.
But he just reminded me of Biff
Yeah.
from Back to the Future. I was
Yeah.
like, this is just Biff.
Yeah, I could see that. Jesus Grease, I thought his character was good overall, and I like the different changes that he went through because I think he did a really good job with that. And like he's just this nice, innocent, older man, and then when he succumbs to the Kronos device, you can start seeing the changes. He becomes more erratic and more
I love
intense, and
Yeah, and the Cronos device can also be used as like a symbolic form of addiction
yes,
because he is addicted. And I wrote a note about this that they could have dragged out more and gone more in depth with, which I really wish they did because it was good. Is how he was like addicted to using it, but there's no explanation to why he felt like he kept having to use it. We just kept seeing like he was in so much pain every time he did it, but we never really got to see the reward from it, like why he kept doing it.
yeah. And another thing that kind of along those lines is when he used the device, I was under the impression that it was going to be making him younger. So like when he first shaved his mustache off, and like he's messing with his face, and
Yeah.
it kind of hinted at, oh, this device is going to make you young,
Yeah,
and then it really didn't. It just kind of prolonged your life, I guess, and changed your molecular makeup to make you live longer. It did look like when he put it on his chest, the marks went away eventually, like
Yeah,
sooner than his hand
like
did.
he woke up and he was like rubbing. It was like he just rubbed it off.
Yes, and I thought that could have needed a little bit more explanation, and why did his chest heal, but like
His
his
hand
hand didn't at all. Like even at the New Year's Eve party, like he's still bothered by it. He's clapping and he's like, oh, and then he starts rubbing his hand.
I'm assuming it's because when he does it again, it looks. I'm pretty sure his hand like perfectly heals the second time he uses it, and then he was still healing from his original wound. So I don't. There just wasn't a lot of exposition that should have been there, and so I think the reason why a lot of this movie got cut down and felt so short and whatever is because they went over budget by like $500,000.
Yeah, I had that written down here.
And then Guillermo del Toro went to debt over it because he started taking money out of his own pocket.
Yeah.
And then Ron Perlman took a pay cut, which is why they're still good friends to this day because he kind of showed his appreciation and how much effort he was willing to put in for this movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
I'm trying to pull this up real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
The character of Aurora, I thought she did a really good job because Aurora speaks one word in the entire movie, which overall,
Wait.
yeah, she says grandfather. That's it. That's the only word she speaks in the entire movie.
Seriously?
And I picked up on that really early, when in the scene where he's inspecting the device. He's like talking to her, but she's not responding. He's just it's almost like he's having a conversation with himself, but he's talking to her. She's not speaking. And then she doesn't speak a single word until the very end, right before he destroys the device. He says, because he sees her hand is bloody, and
He like instinctively like goes to take it.
yeah, he's inching forward, and then she's like, grandfather in Spanish. And then that's when he kind of like steps back and is like, oh,
Without
okay.
hesitation, just destroys the
Yeah,
device.
but that's the only word she speaks. So everything she does is based off her facial expressions.
Wow, I did not notice that.
And I really like that because I think her facial expressions said a lot more than maybe a few lines that she could have had.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
And that was, wow.
Yeah,
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was weird. But I think she did a good job, especially after like everything happened, and after his death, and then he comes back to life, and like she's there. She's unfazed whatsoever. as to his look, as to the fact that like, oh, her grandfather's dead, but now he's like standing in my living room, and then she kind of keep. Another thing that I didn't necessarily care for is the fact that she kept, like, the granddaughter kept him away from his wife, and I thought that was
I didn't
strange. She
like
like
their
hid him
relationship.
away.
I didn't like the relationship between him and his wife
I didn't either.
because it was almost like there was not really a need for it.
No, she wasn't even really featured throughout the film at all. It was more so like a few things here and there. Like I think her best scene was pretty much when he shaves off his mustache.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much how somebody would act if the person that they were with has had facial hair for so long and then automatically changes a major part of their look that they're not used to. And she kind of like giggles and it's like, oh, it looks good. And she's like kind of unsure about it, but it's like, okay, that's a big change, but I can move past it and we're fine. And then she kind of giggles and laughs about it when he leaves, which is pretty accurate, I would say.
Their relationship just felt so forced, and almost to the point where you're like, these people they're married.
It was. I mean, she was only in what, 4 scenes?
Yeah.
So, I can see where you would kind of cut some of that out. It's not super important to the plot of the film, and you don't want people to really focus on that. But I kind of did, as like she didn't know he came back to life. He called her and then he said her name and then she hung up and then that was it. But yeah, I really liked Aurora and her facial expressions because they really did give the tone of what was happening. And I found it very interesting how she was unfazed when she saw him after the accident, and then she followed him to the warehouse or industrial.
She had so
building.
many glow sticks.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she liked glow sticks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I liked her character a lot. All right, let's talk about sound design. Because I actually like the sound design on this movie.
I was gonna say the Foley. I watched it with headphones on. It sounded good. Like that, what they were going for sounded good, but it didn't blend into the scenes very well.
You don't think so?
I do think it was because I had headphones on.
Oh,
It was very blatantly obvious that because he was like kind of overacting. Jesus was when he's like turning the gears the first time.
That one I was kind of like, because it's like, what are you turning? Because the way he was holding it was like there was like a dial that he was turning, but it really wasn't. It was like,
just like,
yeah, you would pretty much kind of use your thumb to turn that if you wanted to.
But no, it sounded good. I liked some of the more kind of the gruesome stuff.
Yeah, like the body horror elements.
I was gonna say that was like the third thing I wrote is the body horror elements, because he has like a transformation at night, kind of like Wolfman or like Silver Bullet. It seems like they took inspiration from Silver Bullet.
Okay.
When he's transforming, kind of, because he like you hear like thunder and he's lit exclusively by moonlight coming in through the windows, and then he's just like dripping in sweat, and then you just hear like the thunder and then kind of like the echoes through the house, and then just the clicking of the Cronos, and then he opens the fridge and there's just like a pile of meat.
Yeah, raw meat.
That was weird. And then he's like sitting there, and you can almost like your mouth almost starts watering because of watching him, because he's like,
yeah,
and he's like kind of like slowly leaning forward and like just gravitating towards it, and I was like, this is really good. And I literally audibly gasped and went, there's body horror on this? Like, because that's when that scarab like goes through his hand, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, and then like
this.
The sound on the skin tearing and then the blood sucking was pretty amplified in a really gross way.
Almost like Nosferatu this year.
Okay.
Nosferatu.
I haven't watched that yet.
No, but it same with, there's only one other scene where it just feels weird, but also the scene just looks weird, is when Angel's uncle is ripping off Jesus' skin. and it's like almost sounds like Velcro like, but it's almost awkward because they're just standing there, and he's like, "Take off your skin, take off your skin," and then he just starts pulling at it, and then Jesus is like, "Hey, stop that!" But he's not really attempting to. Someone's trying to rip skin off my face. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna push him.
And he kind of like winced in pain, but like later when he's doing it himself, and then later when he rips the skin off of his stomach, which was so gross because he puts his hand in the skin of his stomach
and just pulling
it around, and it was done really well, but it was so nasty.
Yeah, I was like,
this rips it off. And I'm like, oh, that's so gross.
Because it's also funny because when Angel's uncle is like hitting him, he's like, "You don't even bleed right."
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Okay.
Another thing, because I feel like I'm gonna forget, but Ron Perlman, when he auditioned, his Spanish was so bad that Guillermo del Toro was like, "This just can't. This is bad. Like this is really bad," and so he kind of made it part of Angel's character that he hates Mexico so much that he intentionally has a bad accent when he speaks Spanish. Like he intentionally speaks it badly because he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to help out his uncle. He just is waiting for his uncle to die.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
which again, creativity thrives in a box. So if you're limited, then you have to find other ways to get out of the box, which makes it better. That's the story.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
Creativity thrives in a box.
Yeah.
And this is one that worked out for, I think, the better.
Yeah, because he was comedic, but also very menacing, and then just overall irritated with his uncle, wanting him to die. So like the point where where his uncle is pretty much dead, almost dead, and he's like, "Not today. Or you were going. Yeah, this is gonna be all mine." And he starts to kills him. Starts celebrating.
He almost seems like nervous and scared to go up there, and then he sees his uncle's dead, and then he just starts cheering.
Yeah,
with excitement, just like
it's all mine. Yeah, it's all mine.
Then his uncle's alive.
Yeah,
and then he just kills him.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But and then Jesus says one of the greatest lines. He's like, "You have too much to lose. For me, it's just pain." And he's like, "Get ready for a whole lot more of it." And then he just spear tackles him.
Yeah, that was good. So I kind of want to go back to the comparison to the MonsterVerse stuff. So we get a lot of Dracula. It's more so Dracula than anything. So he sleeps in the toy box of his granddaughter after the accident, and then when it's sunlight, he gets burned by it. And then there's the bloodlust, which was very interesting because, like, obviously, he saw the meat in the fridge, he wanted it, but he kind of held back that addiction that was getting ready to take over. And then at the New Year's Eve party, and then in the bathroom, that was really gross. Really, really gross. Yeah. Because one, it's in a bathroom. I don't care if it has marbling or anything like granite.
Bathroom sink and then floor.
Yeah. It looked like a super nice bathroom, but it's still a bathroom. At a New Year's Eve party where a bunch of people are drinking and using the bathroom and things like that.
I really wish that Ron Perlman's character, Angel, made a comment about him just licking the floor.
Yeah.
Because I feel like his character would have said something.
Yeah, it was gross. And like he did it so slowly of just licking the floor.
It was really well done, which is why it's so gross.
Yeah.
But man, that is gross.
Yeah. It was not good. And then we kind of get into Frankenstein's monster bit of it after the accident, which the accident itself, when he crashes.
I was appalled. I was like, that is amazing. That had to have been a full size car.
Yeah.
There is no way that was not a real car.
Yeah.
That had to have been.
But I did think that after the car crashed at the bottom of the cliff, and then you see him.
The car's upside down for some reason.
Yeah, and he's kind of just like hanging out of the vehicle.
But the makeup looks really good for that part.
Yeah, but I think the shot itself looked funky to me.
It was a little weird.
And I don't know why.
I think it's because we saw the car land upright,
Uh-huh.
but then the camera wanted it to make it feel but when we see the close up, the car's upside down, and it almost was like they wanted us to feel what Jesus was feeling, like disoriented and upside down.
That's what it was, because it was kind of like we were seeing it upside down, but like at the same time it looked like he was upside down
Yeah.
or right side up,
Yeah.
but like everything pointed to him being upside down. And then when he died, I didn't care for it because I felt like it was a little too forced, where he's just kind of like almost the same thing as in Dark Knight Rises with that death scene of Talia. But after that, I was like, where are we going with this? I don't, like, there's no way he's dead, because I was like,
because they kept just dragging out that thought that you were, because I was just like, oh, he's gonna wake up.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna happen, and then it just wasn't happening.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden he's just like in another place.
Yeah, and then when the I don't know, what do you call him? The person that is fixing him up, the morgue.
Mortician?
Yeah, the mortician. When the mortician is fixing him up and the other person is there, and he's like,
"This is my best work yet."
Yeah,
it sucks for cremating him.
Piece of, well, I think that was technically for the funeral, but he had just had a piece of like Play-Doh putty on his forehead, and I was like, "That's your best work?"
Yeah, I was confused. What was it? I think that he was like trying to fill in the spots.
Yes, because afterwards it looks good.
Yeah,
afterwards, but like in that moment, it looked horrible.
Yeah, and then when he's like, "Oh, you must have had an eventful wake or something like that, or a lively wake," because he has like a
bunch of lipstick and
then he like spits on the thing.
Yeah, that was gross. Yeah. That was gross. And then, so that's another like Dracula thing with the coffin itself. And then he leaves to go figure out what the gas leak is, comes back, and it takes him, he doesn't even like register that the coffin is now open. And so in your mind, you're like, my mind, I thought that Angel, Ron Perlman's character, had went and grabbed him. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the case. But like, he's doing what he does because it's, second nature to him at that point, the mortician, to do what he needs to do. Sees it, questions it for a split second, and then just closes it, pushes him in. And then Ron Perlman's character comes in, and I'm like, okay, so he had nothing to do with it. And so now we're like, okay, he magically came back to life and escaped. Mm-hmm. His makeup after that is really good. Like the cut on his head.
This is when he really looks like Frankenstein. Which,
yes.
Again, now I'm even more excited for Frankenstein after watching this.
Yeah.
So,
but it also made me question the Cronos device's power, because I was assuming that his chest healed. Those things were going to slowly start healing.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I thought his skin was also going to
plot hole, but like, I mean, the skin kind of on his cheek was kind of like falling off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't,
and then almost just
attached.
Like all of that like dead skin fell off. And then he had another layer on top of that, which is then we kind of realized why the alchemist looked like that. It's because he had previously died. But it kind of makes me wonder if he had died multiple times, because the skin was really marbled. And then I really liked how his makeup looked like after the uncle rips it off. Until the very end of the movie, it starts to get more pink, almost like it's healing again. And I thought that was really cool. And then the layers of makeup were amazing.
Yeah. The skin underneath the dead skin, essentially, it reminded me of like silver skin on like a deer. When you're removing that silver skin, that's what it kind of looked like to me. It was kind of like had that shine to it. It could have been off-putting, but it was kind of strange. But yeah, I wonder if they would have extended it out a little bit to where you could see everything was gone. You kind of did at the end, but like it wasn't like a close-up shot of him. It was just,
that was confusing to me, why all of his skin fell off. I'm assuming it probably was just
he probably
like a snake
did
skin.
Yeah, he probably shed the skin and then was slowly dying at the end. But yeah, that was the skin was a weird thing to me because there was no real explanation for it. And I wish we could have had a little bit more of an explanation, or just more like explanation throughout the whole thing. Like maybe his first interaction with the uncle, like explain that part, and then when it comes to like the skin thing, that's the only thing we need to explain. Let's explain that real quick instead of explaining the whole thing at the end.
I don't know why, but when he went to go visit the uncle, and then he like sees him later, it just reminded me of the Big Lebowski.
Why?
I don't know, like because when he goes to visit the guy who sent people to trash his place, and he's like, or the real one, and he's like, "Hey man, you owe me like a new rug," and he's like, "No," he's like, "Oh okay."
Yeah. I thought the industrial place was a weird choice to keep somebody there. And then where the uncle was, he had all the archangel statues in bags.
Yeah,
Which I thought was
like
strange
that.
too.
I thought that was cool. I also then I figured like, why wouldn't you throw them away? But then again, what if like it's somehow hidden in one of those that he hasn't quite looked at?
Yeah. But like, that's a lot of archangel statues.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know, like how many would there have been, and why did the alchemist choose
That one.
that specific one, or like did he have multiple? And just like it just there's a couple of things that I just want a little bit of an explanation
Like
for.
why that cockroach just came out of the eye? Like,
Yeah, that was gross. That was so gross.
I also
They were
my
huge.
biggest issue that I had with the beginning, like after we see that, is it's almost like there's not a lot of depth to Jesus and Aurora's character, and then it cuts to Ron Perlman, and then he took the show, like every scene that he was in, and then so when it cuts back, it's almost like you care more for the antagonist.
Yes.
And then I thought that felt weird, and then I had also here that just like him showing up was really abrupt. But then it just takes over, and it was just weird.
Yeah. Also, one thing that was a strange thing that I wrote a note about was, so the injury thing just, it bothers me overall. Like, do they heal or does it not heal? Or is it, but also he fell off of a cliff in the car. He had to have some broken bones. Clearly. And maybe I'm just thinking too much into this, but like when he comes back to life, he's walking around just fine. And there's no like severe injury.
But he doesn't. It's almost like he doesn't really
cosmetic.
get that injured after he dies. Because it like when he gets stabbed several times in the chest or in the stomach, and he's fine. Jumps off of a building, and he like kind of stands up like he's fine.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did the car do it? Did you have to die for this to like?
I think that's what it was. I think you had to die first in order for the true power of the device to actually take hold. But it's just I think it's a plot hole. Like, what about? And I'm probably thinking too much into this, but the fact that he didn't break a single bone that we know of in the car accident, and then he's walking around just fine after he leaves the morgue.
Yeah. Was he? I think his seatbelt was on, which also was weird. Like, why did Ron Perlman put him seated upright in the chair?
Because he was going to make it look like an accident.
Oh yeah.
Instead of being murdered.
Because then he throws the bottle of booze off the thing.
Yeah.
Also, I just remembered this. I love the shot of right after Ron Perlman Angel destroys the antique store, and the camera just like dollies backwards, and then we just sort of like, oh, that's bad. Oh, this place is completely ruined.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess we can kind of talk about the music choices. I liked it throughout. I thought it was fitting. It kind of felt like it just kind of enhanced it as like music can and should in film. Except for when he's fighting the uncle, the music just did not match what was happening. It was too upbeat and quick for them trying to slow it down. So that threw me off.
Yeah, I agree, because most of it was kind of like like an orchestra, and then some melancholy undertones.
But then that one was just quick.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it was just
it was very
it was
quick,
like,
and it didn't fit. It didn't fit.
I would have liked it if there was no music for that. I
Yeah.
thought that scene would have been like a little more jarring. I guess it would have been like, oh wow, this is dark.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I kind of want to talk about some interesting behind the scenes facts, stories, things like that. So you talked a little bit about the financial struggles.
Uh, so Guillermo del Toro tried to sell his van, or he did, and like his house or apartment.
He sold his comic book collection
Yep.
and took out loans to fund the movie.
And on his way to sell his van, a cop tried to pull him over, and he thought to himself, "I don't have the money to bribe this guy, so I'm just gonna go."
Why do you need a bribe man?
Because he was like, I need the money. I can't pay the ticket, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't have the money to bribe the cop.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm just gonna go. So he was like, I'm in this crappy like white van, and then the cop is in a crappy cruiser, and he's like, this was like the most boring, slowest high speed chase you would ever have seen.
Oh my gosh,
But
that's
yeah.
insane. So Del Toro also had like a weird notebook obsession, and so
I'm pretty sure he still does.
he still does, yeah. So even for this one, he had detailed production notebooks down to the inner workings of the Cronos device. Like there's a lot, like I think that's good,
Yeah.
But like I could see where some people could call it obsessive, and
I think it did for the better. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why Pacific Rim, Hellboy, everything that he's made since then has been amazing.
yeah. I guess he has an obsession with insects, alchemy, and Catholic imagery.
That makes sense.
Which
checks out for everything.
Like it's throughout the entire
Wow.
movie.
Well, I mean, that checks out for his entire
Yeah.
filmography.
Yeah, true. Maybe
Wow.
not so much Pacific Rim.
What do you mean, the giant?
Yeah,
like,
the
they're
kaiju, yes,
insect-like.
insect-like, yes. Kinda. Well, almost, yeah. But like not necessarily like alchemy or Catholic imagery.
Yeah.
So like I can see the insect part of it. Hellboy, yes, like the Catholic imagery,
The insect
the alchemy of it, and some of definitely insects, stuff like that.
I mean, I didn't need to watch Shape of Water, which is his like most well known. But I think there's some insecty type stuff, especially with Pan's Labyrinth too. There's a lot of insect like stuff. And Blade.
Yeah, Blade. Yeah. So some fun facts for you. The Kronos device was fully functional, mechanical prop. There was no CGI with it whatsoever. So it makes me kind of wonder what. I don't know how. Did they stick a
Airbags.
tiny camera in there, or did they build a set?
No, there's definitely a set.
Okay. Because I was like, do you stick like a tiny little
But I'm
it wouldn't have been a
assuming-
thing back then, but like an Osmo type in there, or like
Well, they have those cameras now, which it's called.
like scope things.
I think they're. I don't remember the exact term, but they're literally. It is just like a long tube, and then the camera lens is like this size of like a penny, and then you can use it for like extremely long dollies, or like if it's like through a helmet or like through a small space, they can do that. But I'm assuming the Scarab thing was done with airbags, which for like transformation stuff or air pumps, it's
You're talking about the insect itself.
like how it was like moving and stuff because it was
It was like breathing and
because it was like kind of rising. I'm assuming that they had some sort of like air compressor in there and they're just pumping air through it, so looks like it's breathing.
Yeah.
Because they still do that today with a lot of stuff. So
Right.
That's how I would have probably thought to have done it.
Okay. So this film won 9 Ariel Awards. Those are that's Mexico's Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director. So I didn't know that. Cronos was Mexico's submission to the 1994 Academy Awards for Best Foreign Language Film. I don't think it won. And then Del Toro designed a complete mythology for the device's origins, most of which remains off-screen but informs the narrative's depth.
All right.
See, I think that's what I needed.
Yeah.
I needed that specific thing, and I would have been like really happy with the film. But there's just a few things where I was like, I just need more. I need more of it. So yeah. So those are some fun facts for you.
I mean,
Just trying to see what.
I guess you could see he's got kind of like a similar story to Sylvester Stallone, trying to get his first movie, Rocky. Like, he had to sell his dog, and like sell his apartment, I think.
Yeah. So I have some questions for you. They're
Okay.
not like they're more of like what your opinion is. So we definitely talked about the vampire myth. Do you think Jesus is a tragic hero or a selfish man clinging to life?
I think he is a selfish man clinging to life who becomes a tragic hero.
Okay.
I think he is I don't know. I mean, I guess the perfect way to describe him is you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That fits for this movie.
Yeah.
It does.
Until he realizes that he has become the villain, which then he kills himself.
Yeah.
Which I think is a heroic sacrifice because he realizes that he is the villain.
Yes. Okay. So I don't agree with that. I think he's
Okay.
more so of a tragic hero, and I think if they would have shown him, because he was just a simple guy,
With an
with an antique shop, a granddaughter, and a wife, and he looked like he enjoyed spending time with his granddaughter, but there was no emphasis on like, hey, I'm dying, I need something to change, I need I don't want to leave this world yet. There wasn't any of that.
You're about to exactly, like, you're almost there to Walter White's character.
Yes. Yes. But so like that's why I think he's like a tragic hero instead of a selfish man, because like it starts an addiction which is a
leads him on
disease.
the route of being selfish.
I guess, but like an addiction is it's a disease. Like some people can't help it. Yes, you can just not do it and stuff like that, but I don't 100% agree with that sentiment.
I think
everybody has an
it's because after
addiction
he
to something.
dies, that just changes him completely after he dies. So I think that's why he starts to become selfish.
But I don't think it was his fault. I think there was something with the scarab itself that forced that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily like
His fault because he didn't know what it
you
was.
didn't know what it was doing to him
until the very end.
Yeah, and so throughout the film, like it doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't show what the heck this scarab is doing to you until the end, where it's like to me it's like, oh, it's changing your skin and you live longer, but like at what cost? And like it's not changing the way it's not making you younger. There's no emphasis on like, oh, I'm like this 60, 70-year-old man that can now run 2 miles without any issues. Like my body feels younger. There's no emphasis on that. So I think overall, like you think he's more of a tragic hero because the scarab changed something in him to turn him into a selfish man, which I don't believe is his fault. There was no inclination of, I need to live longer for this specific reason. So he's not like clinging to life. Like he didn't really know what it was doing to him until it was explained to him with his first meeting with the uncle. But it wasn't like, I don't know. There was just no inclination of him wanting to cling to life. It was just
Yeah, it was weird because he was like the only reason why he wanted to live longer was for his granddaughter. Because he's like, tell me how to end this, and then the uncle tries to kill him, and then he retaliates. I think only because his granddaughter was there, and he was trying to save her. And then, yeah, okay,
yeah. All right.
Do you just have how many
No,
questions?
it's a couple, but I'm gonna
Okay.
pick and choose. What do you think the Chronos device symbolizes?
Addiction.
Okay, I was gonna say eternal life, addiction, a like a bargain, alchemy.
I think you could also see it as like a shortcut.
Okay, yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of layers to kind of unpack with the device itself
I feel like you as the
and like
audience
who
member are
uses it.
supposed to interpret what it means to you.
I think yeah, I think that's true as well. Do you think do you think that this would be a recognizable record? Is it still recognizably a Del Toro film in your opinion?
Yes. I think instantly watching it after the first couple minutes of the exposition, I was like, this is Del Toro. This is his story.
Okay.
That was like the like immediate thought I had. What about you?
Yes. Yeah, especially with like now knowing that like he has like a weird obsession with like insects, alchemy, and Catholic imagery, which is very prominent throughout the entire movie. So I definitely think so. And then if you, especially if you look at like Blade 2 and Hellboy, definitely. So yeah. And then I said it earlier. I would like for I would like to see a remake of this movie in a modern setting. Uh, what do you think that would look like?
I would hope. I would hope Del Toro would do it. Just kind of going back to it and maybe building upon what he has discovered himself through the Cronos device with his own story that he's come up with. And I would like to see more of the world building because there really wasn't that much in this of the like the world, just kind of this story. And yeah, I wonder, would Ron Perlman play the uncle?
That would be an interesting choice to have Ron Perlman come back as the uncle, but I think it would only work if Del Toro did this film.
Yeah, I think only he could do this one again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I would like to see him go back to it. I think that'd be interesting because I mean Tarantino has thrown out the idea of like for his final movie, what if he redid Reservoir Dogs with his how much he's grown as a director and a writer.
I think for like a remake in a modern time,
I feel like it's a timeless story.
yes, I do think that. I think if it was to be remade, I would like to see something more, a little bit of a more of a backstory with the specific alchemist. Just a little bit longer. Overall, I think the movie should be longer, like maybe 2 hours 15 minutes, 2:30. Something like that. I think that would be like the sweet spot for it. And I think it would more so look like somebody that owns a Fortune 500 company that just got diagnosed with you know a disease that like he will be dead in 6 months, and that would be like the uncle. So like you said, like Ron Perlman could do that. Like I think that and like have a little bit more of a backstory on that's the uncle specifically, and then you kind of cut to just somebody that's trying to just get through the day, spend time with his family, things like that.
I think it would be interesting if if Jesus's character was more kind of just accepting a life. He's like, life happens, might as well be just a big optimist, and then kind of just have that contrast between those characters more. Rather, and then just all he wants to do is just make his granddaughter happy, and just like be a good grandfather. Like showing those, I think that would be.
Yeah, and I think like have Jesus's character be just happy with where he is at. He's very optimistic. He's very happy, and he just lives every day in a good mood and stuff. Then he discovers the device, and it kind of latches onto him and things like that. And I would say a more intense turn instead of a slower burn.
I would like people to see his transformation and be frightened by it, kind of more exaggerating the Frankenstein's story part of it.
Yes, like I could see after he dies off the cliff, Like obviously, if they remade this movie, I feel like there's going to be a lot of different changes, like different sceneries, different scenes itself. It's not going to be verbatim to the original.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to say, okay, here is after he dies and he becomes resurrected, he kind of looks at himself in like your typical like rainy time frame. He sees a reflection in the glass, and then he's just kind of like peels away at his skin, realizes there's something there, and then there's like a frightenedness to him, and then the full transformation, like him take the whole skin off. That way we get more of that, and I think that would make the final confrontation between him and the uncle much more intense.
That was really close to the Joker. When he... Is that where you got that?
No, that just kind of came off the top of my head. It was like as I was watching it, it was like, this is how I think I could enjoy this more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that was pretty close to the Joker.
yeah, subconsciously, I guess. All right, so that's pretty much all I have on this movie. Overall, I think it's really good. I think we have some trivia about this movie that we kind of want to get into, and then we'll end on our ratings and overall last remaining thoughts. So you want to go first?
Sure. Let me. So, in one scene, Jesus hides inside of what type of object during his confrontation with Angel?
Say that one more time.
In one scene, Jesus hides inside what type of object during his confrontation with Angel?
Hides. What does he hide?
What does he hide in? It's ironic and it's fitting to a Universal monster character.
A coffin?
Yeah.
He's hiding. What?
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know if he's necessarily hiding.
I don't know about that. I don't know about this question.
Yeah, that one doesn't make sense.
I mean, a lot of these were some of these I didn't expect you'd get, like the Mexico's official submission awards, like that. Like that was one. Let's go. I mean, some of these are a little more obvious. Like this one is, what myth is this loosely inspired by? The vampire myth. Some of these are
okay.
really
So
stupid.
what happens to Jesus' reflection after he uses the device? I didn't pick up on it.
It disappears, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it fades or disappears. I didn't pick up on that at all.
What part of Angel's body keeps getting broken?
His nose.
Yeah, that was funny. When he's like,
Yeah.
"Not my nose again."
Yeah, that's funny. What biblical theme is subtly referenced through the alchemist who creates the Cronos device?
I have no idea.
What does the Cronos device do for you?
Tree of Life.
Yeah, the
Okay.
pursuit of eternal life or immortality.
Okay.
Do you remember what year the Cronos device was supposedly created? I said it at the beginning.
15? 14?
You were there.
15? 1593?
No.
15
Earlier.
earlier than 15?
No, earlier than 1593.
1515?
Later.
1543?
Close.
40s?
No.
30s?
Yes.
35?
So close.
36?
Yes.
Okay.
1536.
Let's go with which I didn't realize this one at first for some reason, but like what country they're in.
Mexico.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know. It doesn't say.
I thought they were in Italy at first for some reason.
Or Spain.
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
Is it Spanish?
That's what I meant
Yeah.
Spain. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I thought Spain first, and then as we kind of got through the movie, I was like, okay, this is more Mexico, and things like that. What is unique about Aurora's character in the film?
That she says one word.
Yeah, she rarely speaks, which she says one word throughout the entire film. Yep, that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, I thought all of these questions were pretty good, and then we'd kind of
We already like went through them.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your rating?
Last night, and I mean this morning, I really thought about it, and I was like, I don't really think I can go much higher than a 3.5. Although I really did enjoy it, and I liked it a lot. I don't know. Halfway through this, I was definitely set that it's a 4, but I think I'm gonna keep it at 3.5.
Okay.
What about you?
I think I have to go with a 3, only because there was more that I wanted from it.
Yeah, but I mean considering this is a feature-length directorial debut,
Okay.
I'd lean closer to a 4.
I'm gonna say 3.5, but like barely a 3.5, like a 3.3 ish.
I don't know if it is my favorite debut.
I was actually really excited for this film because it kind of encompasses
It's just
a
so
lot,
ominous.
like a weird sci-fi horror ish, but like it
Yeah.
didn't really feel horror at all. But like it had tones of horror, I guess, and using like the elements of the MonsterVerse and things like that. And I wanted to really, really like this film, and there were certain things that just I needed. Like my biggest thing is I needed more information.
I think the biggest issue is the exposition, but still, Guillermo del Toro swang for the fences,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna say he didn't miss.
No, I don't think he missed at all. I mean,
This is a great
makes
start.
sense. Yeah,
to-
I mean, he clearly gets better and better and better. So I mean, hopefully we can get something similar to it in the future.
With Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. That's going to be interesting. So I don't know. Overall, I really like this movie, and I recommend it to everyone. So, any final thoughts?
No, I think that's all I got.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I gotta go pick up my kid. So let's wrap up.
You can see in the description all of our links for everything. The link at the top. And remember, we'll always have Paris.